Welcome to No Man's Sky Survival Mode. I'm just going to run up and talk to this ship to pin it, because what I'm going to do is start with a little bit of a discussion on ships types and how they actually fit into the game now. Now this has been stimulated by a comment put by Creating Z's, who asked a question about S-class ships and things like that. Well, this is an explorer, don't really need an explorer. And so I kind of sat thinking about it, and I thought, well, let's have a little bit of a conversation about ship types and what they mean. Now, if you played the game when it first came out, life was very simple. You found a ship that you really liked, you spent a lot of time, you got to 48 slots, whacked in the tech that you needed, which normally filled up virtually all the ships, so you ended up with like 4 or 5 slots on the bottom depending on how much tech you put in, and then that was it. Now since then we've had the introduction of freighters, and we've now got multiple ships, and that's changed the game dynamic considerably. And I think there's even now an element of, well, I suppose there always has been an element of role playing in the game where you can build the fleet that you actually want. So I thought I'd just kind of, in the beginning of this part, it might be quite a long time guys, I'm just going to talk about what all the different ships are. Now there are 4 types of ship. Let's just go and see what this guy is. This looks like a bit like another explorer. These ships tend to be explorers, so we're just going to see. And this is, in case any of you guys don't know, what you do is if you come here, you can see here, this is a C-class explorer. You've got the percentages. Explorers always have a percentage boost to your hyperdrive, and you can do a compare here, and you can see here I can either trade this. I'm currently in my fighter, and he said freighter, so I can either purchase it outright and add it to my fleet, or I can sell my fighter for here and get it for free. So this is a way that you can start to kind of upgrade your ships gradually over time. Now I get it for free because my fighter is worth more than the explorer, but if there was a little bit of difference, you just pay the difference. So that's a way to actually build up and improve your ship, but that's not what I want to talk about here. As I said, there are 4 types of ships. I've got 3 of them at the moment. You get fighters, you get explorers, which I've got 2 of at the moment, and of course you've got the really big hauler at the bottom. And the 4th ship that I haven't got is a bit of an anomaly, because, well, the best way to explain it is if I come into the hauler. Now I've got a kind of mid-range hauler here, and it's got 29 slots, so it's kind of a mid-range hauler. The benefit to a hauler is you get an enhanced shield bonus, which is useful for the nature of what it is. Also, the thing about haulers now, which is the next subject, which surprised me, because I'd like to thank Creating Z's for getting me to look at this, because I hadn't really thought about this. I noticed that there was some oddities. There's another ship just come in, so let's just whap over there. When I've been looking at ships, that you couldn't seem to find really large ships, and this looks very much like another explorer. And so I kind of did a bit of trolling around the forums, or looked at the forums and saw some of the speculation, and I didn't realise that ships now had different sizes, capacities. Another explorer, obviously I'm an explorer system, you can see this one's got a bonus of 24% high. It's B class. Now if I do a comparison now, of course I'm now in my current ship, which is here. That's a 26 ship slot. But say I wanted to upgrade this, if I went and grabbed this fighter. Sorry I keep digressing guys, but if I grab this, come out here, and if I can get back to this before he takes off. Do a comparison. Let's have a quick look. This is a 26 slots B class explorer, so I do a comparison now. you can see here my current ship is worth 1.785 million and the Explorer is 5.4 million. It's got 7 extra slots. Yeah, I mean that I could go up and we could gain that for there, and I'd have to transfer over here. If I go for purchase, which I've just done, I've just accidentally bought a ship. I've now got 4 ships. Okay guys, well, I didn't intend to do that, and I think that's cost me 5 million, and I think that may be an example of not what to do. And I think if I come here, yeah, it cost me 5 million, because if you buy the ship you actually pay the full price of the ship. If you exchange ships you only pay the difference. So I could have got this for 3 million by selling my fighter, but instead I've now bought, so I now got 3 explorers. Now okay, I'm not too worried about that. I've got plenty of cash, guys, and I've got my farming if I remember to go and do it, although I've been a bit lazy recently. So, what was I saying? Yeah, a hauler is the only ship now that goes to 48 slots. Bear in mind that the numbers I'm just about to give you, guys, they are from the internet. I haven't confirmed them myself, so if you know better, feel free to add a comment. Now, so haulers, you get 48 slots and a booster shields. Explorers, you get 38 slot maximum now and you get a boost to, if I go to my explorer ship here, I think this is Traveller 1, and you will see here that I get a boost to hyperdrive. So the way it works, guys, is this is the base drive is 100 light years. I've got 200 light years on top. I get a 27% bonus, which works out at 327s is 81 light years, and then on top of that I get another bonus because of the proximity. By having the 2 warp drives side by side, you get also a percentage increase like that. So then that adds up to a 395. So you imagine if by having all the warp drives side by side and building them up here, you can get a really big range here, and this percentage is applied to the whole lot, so it's cumulative. So having a really good explorer with, say, I think an S class, I think goes up to 50%, means that 50% on the cumulative is on the range. And that's the advantage here as well. It's like the shield strength, I've got 1.6, 1.7. I've got a 1% boost to my shields, which probably doesn't even show in the figures here. But that gives me a shield absorption of 2.6. And of course I've got the bonuses associated with my weapons. So that's the Explorer. Now a fighter has it capped out at 38 slots. I'm just going to have a quick look at the fighter here, and you can see here I've got a 19% boost to shields, 47% damage to shields. So you can see here I've actually got a bigger damage potential. I've got 987% damage percentage from here, based on my literally on my phase beam. I mean, calculating the damage is a little bit more trickier, because I suspect that it adds the combat effectiveness of the weapons, plus you've got fire rate and damage. And I've got a feeling the way this actually works is that it kind of multiplies the two together. So I think like here that is 100 and you add 47.8 on that, and I'm not sure how this one works. Maybe the phase beam has more. I've never really worked out. Any of you guys know how that calculation is done? Feel free to tell me. And of course the fourth ship is, I haven't got an example of here, and I don't think this is, I think this is another Explorer. Oh no, that's my ship, isn't it? Ha, sorry guys. got to get used to the fact I've got another ship. I'll probably trade up for it, because when I talk about something that occurred to me that could be useful. But the other one is called a shuttle. Now the shuttles seem to be the smallest ships in the game. They actually have only a maximum of 24 slots. They don't seem to have a large ship option. The shuttles are often these little chunky type ships that you see hanging around, come in, looks like half the ship is missing, and their stats tend to be more evenly spread. So if you're looking for a more rounded ship rather than a ship that's heavy in one stat, shuttles are for you. But I don't think they've really got a role in the game at the moment compared to haulers, explorers and combat ships. Now, so the way I look at it now, guys, is after compared to the original game, you've got a bit of a chance now to develop the fleet that you want. And I know there's S-class ships around, and I suppose the ideal would be to have the ships that you want and have them all S-class. I think to a certain degree, I think how you actually want to use them will depend very, very much on the way you want to play. I mean, if you don't want to fight lots of battles, why have a maxed out fighter? You know, if you're happy just trolling around with a hauler and an explorer, fair enough. But what I will say is that it does pay to build your fleet up, because there's a kind of a, how can you say, a trick hidden in this game. Well, it's not hidden. It's like, I've just bought this hauler here. So, well, not hauler, I've built this, I've just bought this ship here. And you can see I've got 26 slots, it's empty. Now, I could upgrade this eventually to a hauler. And what you could do is, I'm doing a lot of save games here actually, by the way. What you could do is literally get yourself a full 48 slot hauler. It can be really cheap and nasty, and what you could do is just leave it on this deck, and what that will do is give you another 48 slots of storage. And I think this comes down to the upgrading the ships. You don't need to worry about storage. Like my fighter, I'm never going to go resource gathering with it, so I could max my final fighter out. I could stay with this, or if I find an S-class fighter, I would then use that, and I could max it out for combat and shield effectiveness. It doesn't need upgraded warp drives, because I will use my explorer to do the warping. And if I decide I want to go out and fight a battle or get involved in one of these distress signal events, I can call my fighter up, go there. It's got a little bit of space to pick the loot up and come back, and then I can have a really cheap hauler parked inside the freighter here to storage. It means that if I want resources, I don't have to go all the way upstairs, although I've got vaults up there. So you've got so much storage space now. You don't really need to feel the need to max out your ship sizes. And I think this, from my point of view, that's a benefit, because I'm at a point now, so as well, I've now got 4 ships, and I'm going to be looking more, not so much for stats. I mean, yes, I'll be looking at stats for a certain point of view, especially probably for my explorer, because I want eventually to have maximum range for jumping. But I think it's like maybe the fighter, it's going to be more looks and bits and pieces. And I think I'm kind of starting to ramble now, guys, but that's what I'm kind of talking about, is that you want to choose the fleet that suits your gameplay and what you really, really like, and you can use them because you've got so much storage now. Again, another tip, guys, the same with your exocrafts. I mean, I don't know if I can access my exocraft from up here. Sometimes it disappears. Yep, it won't do it. But just want to have a quick check. I've got some voltaic cells. I'm very low on Heridium because I've just been charging my Explorer, getting some fuel for that. I forgot what I was about to say. Yes, you can use your exocraft to store resources as well. I mean, I know you can't put resources into an exocraft, but what you can do is go and mine. I mean, the Colossus is a very good one example of this. If you find a flat planet, or a planet that's or live on a flat planet, you can go out and gather loads and loads of resources in your Colossus. It's a very big kind of exocraft. It's not very fast, but then you can just keep the resources in there until you actually need them. So there's lots of storage opportunities, and I certainly think I will be developing the concept of having a cheap hauler or a cheap large ship. I'll probably use this one. Actually, let's go and do it, I think, while I'm thinking about it. And just remind me, you can see me there. I think we're going to call you Resource Bank. So this is going to be for the moment until such time as I find a better ship. This is going to be my kind of on-deck resource bank ship, and I don't think I've got anything that's really here. Oh, it's the wrong ship. This is where it gets confusing. It's almost like you need a personal assistant now to manage all my storage. See, I've got some plutonium in here to do the jump, and what I'm going to think now, I think I've rambled on enough about ships and stuff like that. So let's get back. And what I was thinking about doing is maybe it's time to move on and find a new system, because I've kind of exhausted this. So what we're going to do is pull away. I've got to find the ship tech for the system, and I don't think I really want to. Where's the center of the galaxy? Yep. So I mean, if any of you got any ideas about how you think ships should be used, it's this way. I mean, I'm open to suggestions, because I'm by no means am I claiming that I'm an expert on ships and all that. But I'm just kind of putting out my feelings of how things are going. So, light coloured planet there. Oh, I need warp reactor theta for that. There's 4 planets, 1 moon. That's an F class. Let's see if we can get a little bit further in. Might as well try and use the range on the ship. That's too far. Upgrade driver. Certainly need my warp tech for this ship. I can't go anywhere at the moment. 4 planets, 2 moons. Okay, we're just gonna have to pull back and see what we can find. 1 planet. I certainly don't want to go to a system of 1 planet. This looks like there's a red. Oh, M0P. Don't think I've been to an M class planet. Okay, let's go here, guys. I think that's what I'm going to be doing, is building my fleet up over time. See what we can do. But it's certainly worth, especially for an explorer like this, it's certainly worth getting all the warp techs and placing them inside of your ship in a way that will allow you to stack them, because that stacking bonus will add even more to the range of your ship. So imagine if you can get an S-class explorer with all the warp tech and all stacked together, and if that S-class explorer gives you, say, 50% bonus, you're going to get like the max range that you can get. I mean, I'm assuming 50% is the max. I think that's the largest I've ever seen or heard of. This correction. Let's just go see who's on this, who owns this system, see if they've got anything of any interest. Hello, Mr. Callbacks. Let's go and say hello to this guy, see what he's got. Entity Visky. Entity emits tilts its head to one passes a hollow metallic mass to me. His best guess is that it's some sort of data extraction device. I think I use while thinking about my journey. Pain is unbearable. I see the heart of the Corvax convergence. You take damage. Great, thank you. I always wanted to take damage, and we got 22 nanite clusters. Let's see what here. Your shielding increases. Oh well, I won't turn that down. Exchange, provide entity nanite clusters. Buy. So see what he's got in the way of tech. No. That we've got an aeration membrane here, but I don't have the nanite clusters for it because I think I spent it. That could be useful if you want to go diving for Rigogen. Let's just have a quick walk round and see what. I've got nothing to. And what we're going to do now is, I think that we're going to explore this system a bit, and so we'll just go and get back into Explorer 1 and change back to the trusty steed. That's to do the exploring, because this obviously this ship doesn't have the capacity or clout for what I'm doing. There's a bit of fringing at the end of the tunnel there. So let's just get away from. Should be far enough. Yep, there we are. Here comes my super freighter, who can travel vast distances without warp drive. You think you actually had a base on the outer rim and a base near, or a base out on the outer rim, and you were flying towards the center of the galaxy, your freighter could cover the whole radius of the galaxy in an instant. How about that for a ship? High-speed ship. Okay. Now, if I'm going to do some exploring, I'm going to got to find some Heridium, and I can't remember offhand. Let's just get into the trusty steed, because I think I just consumed a lot of my Heridium actually making those warp cells, which I did before I started the recording. So yeah, no chrysonite. We've only got 20 Heridium. For some reason I got Mordite and Entrium. God knows where that came from. Should really have had a tidy up before I started the recording, but I'll do that afterwards. And I think I'm going to have to go up here. Let's just have a quick look at. Do I have? We only got plutonium. I might be low on Heridium. I mean, I could probably go back to the base, but I think what we'll do is we'll just have a quick look in our vaults. Again, as I said, if you were storing this on your storage ship in the bay, you wouldn't have to keep coming all the way up here to find things. So let's just go. And I must admit that I am struggling a little bit to keep track of where everything's stored. So you've got some electron vapor in there. Oh, we can put this in here. I don't really need that. That'll free up a little bit of space. And what else we got in here? Some chrysonite. Well, I can get rid of that as well. Don't really need anything like that. No, you don't get anything. Corvax. Well, we could use a Corvax cube to enhance our standing with the Corvax. Nope. Oh, got no Heridium up here. Wow, that's something else. How am I off Thamium? I think maybe bring that back and send that back. I'm a bit low. Again, it's probably due to the fact that I was making warp cells. Oh, we got loads of Corvax cubes. In fact, I've got Corvax cubes back there, but I'll sort that out off. So I've got no Heridium. Okay. That's. I mean, I could go and mine some. Or I think I could go home to my base. Okay. Trusty steed, where I thought, now. I haven't been home for quite some time, actually, guys. So I'm not an intense kind of cash farming person. I only tend to do it. Yeah, well, we've got rubium and iridium. We've got Heridium on there. Let's just cruise over. We'll see if we get the ubiquitous space battle. Yep. Okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to shoot back to the base, guys. Yes, I know, hostile ships. So what I'm going to do is shoot back to my home base to see if I can get any Heridium there. If the main reason I want to check is if I'm not, that's going to have to be put on my shopping list for the exploration. Okay guys, I'm up on the space station and I'm kind of in two minds. We've got some resources here. I don't seem to have any plutonium though. That's slightly worrying. I got plenty in my exosuit though, but we're short on Heridium. So, and we know we don't have any Heridium down on the ground. So I think I was going to go back to my base, but I think I'm going to just do this a bit quick, guys. We're going to do it a quick way, I think. So let's go here. You've got rubium and yeah, freighter. Where's all the other planets? It says there's 4 planets on this system, and that says there's a base. Okay, let's see if we can get a scan on that one. That's Cadensium. I think we're going to go down on here, and what I'm going to do is do it the way we always used to do it. It's proximity. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the search for Heridium the way I would have done it in the past. We've got plenty of surplus plutonium, and that is, we're just going to go down onto this planet, fly across the surface, find some Heridium, and mine it with the ship. So we're going to land next to the Heridium. As I say, I've got the plutonium for it, so there's no point worrying too much. This is where I land, on a hostile planet, or an extreme planet full of hostile sentinels, just to make life interesting. And I don't have the defense, but we shall see, guys. So I'm going to fly across the surface, try and find some Heridium. It says there's Heridium on the planet, so I'll see you when I find some Heridium, guys. Oh well, guys, I've been flying around here for about 10 minutes and I haven't found a base, and I haven't found... Oh! There we are. I knew I should have took... I've been flying around for 10 minutes and I couldn't find any Iridium. I think this is a barren planet, guys. Yeah, passive, balmy, lacking, forsaken planet. Has this been actually discovered by somebody? That's a curiosity there, guys. That's how discoveries. No, it says I discovered it. That's a... This is a forsaken planet. Okay. It's actually balmy. That's a bit weird. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. I've never seen that. So we've got here flora lacking, balmy, passive. Weird planet. There's no bases on it or anything like that. But we will grab the Heridium. It took me a long time to find this. I was starting to think maybe there was nothing on this planet at all. I mean, it's a bit of a weird planet. They say there's nothing of... I don't know if there's any benefits to Forsaken Planet. If you guys know. I mean, this is... Well, just get a nice big watch of... Just mine out all this Heridium while I'm talking. maybe this is an ideal mining planet or resource planet. So I won't mine every last little piece, guys. Let's see what else is here actually. Anything else out on this system? There's a rare element there. I hate to think what that will be. But we'll go have a look, see. It's probably on the other side of this cliff. There's a little bit of plutonium over there. Grab that to compensate for the fact that I had to put down on here to get the Heridium. I don't think there's that much in the way of resources on this planet here. But let's just go over and see what on offer. There's no thallium around though. That's not the same as a barren planet. What have we got here? Ah, famous last words. It was hiding from me. Well, I'm certainly going to grab the thallium. I think what we're going to do is explore this planet, and this is where I'm going to bring this part to an end, guys. I think I probably spent a lot of time talking about ships at the beginning, but I think it was worth it. And I mean, if you guys have got any opinions on what you think would be a good fleet build, I suppose that would be the best way to describe it, because it is a fleet build, really. I mean, I think it's very much a personal test. I mean, I know I'm not a great role player. I mean, I can imagine some people would want to role play their way through No Man's Sky and build a fleet that reflects what they want to do. You know, whether you're going to be a pirate or explorer or something like, you know, got what I mean? You know, or just a trader. I mean, that would be fine. I mean, that's a mechanic that I wish Hello Games would develop, is maybe build up the trading element a little bit more. I mean, that could be fun. Let's see if we can. I don't know where that says that. This resource must be underground then. I think it's underground, guys. Because it's still, look, it's right below my feet. I don't think this is. Yeah, I think there must be caves underneath here. Got my curiosity actually. Okay guys, I'm getting a little bit far away from the ship, but oh, there's loads of thallium up there, so I think we'll go up and grab that. It's probably something like vortex cubes or what's the other one? You got vortex cubes, venom sacs or something like that. I don't think I really need to worry too much about it. I think we can certainly get up and get the thallium up here. Yeah, so back on that, guys. I mean, are you guys actually role playing your way to the centre of things? I mean, that could be fun. Maybe if they do another release, because of course, if Hello Games drop another major update, I will have to kind of replace either my permadeath or this survival series with a new start, depending on what they release. I mean, if they don't release anything that's kind of thing, but say like if they introduce a say they introduce like a new race or something like that, then I think you've really got to start the game again. It's just, I mean, but we'll see when another update drops. But maybe if I do start again, well, even if I die, I mean, permadeath 1, if you're following that series, well, I've recorded the next part for that. I don't think it's up yet, and I came very close to dying in it. I'm not gonna I won't give you a spoiler, guys. Anyway. So yeah, I mean, there's a chance that I might actually die in permadeath, and if that comes, maybe I'll role play the scenario. You know, kind of come up with something that will. I mean, at the moment, my role play is me. I mean, that's often with games like this. I play me. I play what I would do if I was actually on a real ship exploring the galaxy. So my role play often is the decisions I make and the things that I do kind of relate to how I would do things like that in the future. Let's go over and get that Thamium. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm generally an honest person. Well, and that's the way I like to play. I mean, I'm not a person into needless violence as well. I mean, I'm not a pacifist by any long shot of the system of frame of mind, but at the same time I don't believe in willful destruction for the sake of willful destruction. And again, I'm not what you'd call a tree hugger, but I do understand that protecting the environment is actually protecting the human race, because we live on a finite planet. If you destroy where you actually live, you're not going to survive. Okay guys, I'm wandering across the surface here. I've picked up some Thamium and other resources. There's a bit more Thamium over here. I think it's probably a bit that I've missed. And I think I've kind of farmed this area out. Looks like there's some Chrysonite over there. I think or something of value there. Yeah, we'll grab the Chrysonite. Might as well take advantage of this, what this planet's got to offer. Yep, I must have missed a Thamium for here when I was over here. Never mind. I think that's been a pretty successful run. We've got loads of Heridium, topped up the plutonium, probably a bit too much. We've got over 1,000 plutonium. How much space have I got? My freighter's got. Their starship doesn't have any plutonium, so I think we can send some plutonium to the ship. We've got some Chrysonite, got some Heridium, got Mordite. I'm not sure why I've got that. I think we'll top up one more scan, one more look round, guys, just to see if there's anything else of interest around here. As I say, the advantage of kind of working these barren planets is the fact that as long as you've got plenty of Thamium, and they do provide plenty of Thamium, you can kind of just wander around. You don't need your exocraft. This is what you could call old school No Man's Sky exploration. No, I don't think there's much else here, so I think we've exhausted the possibilities on this planet. Right guys, we're walking our way back towards the ship, and I think what I'm going to do now is take off, go back to the space station. That's where I'm going to wind the part up. I've got no idea how long this recording's lasted, and I might chop out some of the bits on exploring this planet, because it's probably a bit boring. So we just don't want to top up the hyperdrive. I'll certainly get rid of that odd 10 and the odd 33, and just top up that. Got plenty of plutonium now, so we'll just get back to the space station if I can find it. There's my freighter over there. Abandoned building habitable. Come on guys, get away from the space station. The atmosphere. That's got condensium on it. We're in the middle of a asteroid field. Where's the space station? Well, it looks like we've got incoming. Maybe we'll have to deal with those guys before we... There's the space station. Okay guys, looks like we're going to finish off with a little bit of a battle. Yeah, where are you coming from? Yeah, where are you? Always end up fighting in the middle of an asteroid field. There they are. Hello boys. It's quite a nice looking ship actually. I'm so mad to destroy it. Right, let's get back. Gather some iron while I'm looking for the space station. So what I'm going to do now, guys. Oh, what we got here? Milestone. We're a legend. We destroyed 80 starships. Okay. So I'm going to get back to the space station, park up, and in the next part we'll carry on exploring this system. I can now put down on a planet with the exocraft, so we'll be back in business on that point of view, guys. And here we are. Got a nice save. Got the shields on that ship. Wow. That was... I think that's another advantage. If you can build up all the shields on your ship, that means you can take more damage over time. Anyway, I think this is where I'm going to leave it, guys. We've now got plenty of Heridium. I'll sell this stuff off camera. Oh, and we've got our clusters back. So my nanite clusters were actually in my trusty steed. Again, that's something else something worth considering, just to pick up on the theme that I was talking about at the beginning, that if you've got a craft down in your freighter hold, what you could actually do is store your nanites in there if you don't want them. And because you've got to remember is that there's a limit. You get 500, but you can actually use one of your craft in the freighter as a bank, and it means that, especially if you're not playing, well, if you're not playing permadeath mode. Sorry, I was just got to check this out. That means that if you get killed, you don't lose all your nanites, and no one can steal them. So let's see what this is. See, this is a shuttle. This is an A-class shuttle, guys. See, 23 slots, and I think this is pretty close to the maximum size for a shuttle. And we'll just do a quick compare. I'm not gonna, and you can see here 23 slot shuttle. You can see what I was saying at the beginning, that you actually get a wider dispersion. So if you're looking for an all-round ship with kind of damage shields and hyperdrive for general purpose, a shuttle might be for you guys, but be aware that you will not get a 48 size shuttle. And okay, let's just have a quick check of these before I go. Sorry for the distraction. I think this will be oh no, he's gone. I think this is a shuttle as well. Obviously this is going to be a shuttle system. So Scholar Entity G. Maybe that could be something. I'll bring one of my ships up here, or hang around on my freighter. Yeah, there's a C-class shuttle here. This has got 19 slots. Maybe I'll buy a shuttle just for the fun of it. But that'll be for the next part, guys. Maybe I'll hang around on my freighter. Actually, what I might do is I might do it off camera, and I will trade maybe that new Explorer for a shuttle. But this is where I'm going to leave it, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting. Feel free to comment, ask questions. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.